Alright, so somebody asked me if you have the Johnwar version of Grom, and if you have the Tauer version of Grom, how do you make the Tauer version of Grom's animations on the Johnwar version of the model? I just confirmed on Hive that both Tauer and Johnwar say in their profiles that if you credit them, you can edit the models as much as you want. So I think we should be set if we want to give some examples of this. Sometimes, in my experience, Blade Master animations were one of the most frustrating to deal with because a lot of times, if you look at the nodes, we'll see if they did this or not. But a lot of times, if you look at the nodes and you look at something like arm 1 left on this this model apparently is actually on the left. That's cool. This Tauer one. Here it's called arm left 01, but it is on the left. So that's pretty cool. I think that means things should actually work. So we might not have to work that hard. Cool. Alright, based on that, let's try telling this to import. And we'll see what we get. These are kind of large models with a lot of geosets, but for the most part, we don't want any geosets. I think the idea would be to clear the pre-existing animations. I think this guy is just saying, how do you put the Tauer animations directly into the Johnwar version? So yeah, we're just going to clear pre-existing animations. We're going to leave the import all, just like import all these. You don't actually have to click import all. These boxes are checked by default. Bones. So bones. This is the key. How are we going to link the one guy's motion to the other guy's body? And in order to do that, you got to click motion from all. We got to generate a mapping from node to node between the models. And then we need to check our mapping, make sure it does what we think. With that in mind, it looks like bone chest is linked to bone chest, but arm right 01 didn't link to arm 1R because the names are different. I don't have an automation for when the names are different. What is this? Mesh gore howl. This is probably bone sword for all I can tell. Let's see, arm left 01 is actually arm 1L. The same thing with arm, hand. Head, it looks like is automatically lined up. So those matched. Jaw should go to jaw. Looks like this guy has a lower lip. This guy has a lip R. Mouth edge and cheeks. So this guy has much more complicated mouth. I don't know. What are you going to do with that? Let's just put it on the lip L. Maybe this is hair 2 and 3. This guy has brow. Oh, where's brow? I guess. Oh, there actually is. There is like his brow. Okay. So we could link those up. Brow left. Brow right. The legs also didn't link, so we got to link leg 1L. Leg 2L. Foot L. We do the same with the right leg. Right leg. Right foot. So that's a lot of progress, and that would get you the basics. But one of the other things that we probably want to do is to try to get things like visibilities of ribbons and sounds. Honestly, the sounds and the footprints are probably just going to be a problem, but I guess we could import these new ones. So that'll help maybe. Because sounds and footprints, we just want the ones from the Tauer version, I guess. The rest of the stuff here in objects, you probably want to leave and not include. But it is interesting then to think, so in this visibility tab, what do we want to do? So obviously we have a lot of geosets, but I think the difficult part would be when we're dealing with all these geosets, how are you going to manage the visibility of layers and things like that? And you know, this guy, he's got the background plane behind him and these sorts of things. And really, I think they probably both have that stuff. So they have a lot of similar layers. So if we were really smart, we would link the visibility of layers. And so like what I mean by that is that you would, you know, sort of turn off everything and get it so you can think clearly here, and then find out where is the portrait backdrop for this guy. This one. Here's his portrait backdrop. Geoset 5. This guy's portrait backdrop, though, is probably a different one. It looks like that's... Alright, I guess they're both Geoset 5. So that makes that pretty easy, because you can go to Geoset 5 over here and just say, use the imported Geoset 5. Sort of link that up. But we want to link some other ones. You know, we got to link, how about the tube spinner thing? That's always kind of fun. Do they both have that? They both have that. There you go. So that's Geoset 4, it looks like. As well as maybe 3. 4 and 3 are kind of together. And looks like over here, that's different. Over here it's 2 and 3. And in particular, 2 is all the big flat stuff, but over here is 3. So our guy, we want 2 to map to 3, and 3 to map to 4. That'll get those spinners looking good. Something else that's interesting is that you may notice there is the possibly some layer alphas, which is a little bit interesting. Most of the time I don't think about layer alphas on SD. I guess some of the HD people do that, but I don't usually. But in this case we actually do care about layer alphas, because if you look, they're both red in their idle state. And then they're green in most of their animations, and we want that green animation. You know, we want to have what is it? Stand second. We want them both to do this thing, and so this is fancy too, right? Because we're playing with the visibility of a layer, and they both do this. You know, they both have that animation, and we want to keep it that way. So what that means is that we want to go to any of the layers in our model that we're making. This Chaos Warlock. I guess they have Chaos Green Warlock? That's silly. It's confusing. Alright, just Chaos Warlock. Hellscream Chaos. And we gotta get some other, or any others. Chaos Grom. Yeah, so get all those. And basically all of them. Imported animation visibility should come from the chaos of the Tauer model, and so that's going to make it that they fade and disappear in the same kind of way, and that's going to be really good. So it's probably most of what we care about, to be honest, on this. Now it might be that some of this other stuff has some visibility that we would care about, but for the most part probably not much. I guess if you wanted to, you could try to see. No, there isn't even, so the flashy tornado effects, I guess. They have some kind of special layer visibility going on in the original model and not in the Tauer model, so we don't have anything to import there, we could just leave it. So I think that's most of it. I mean, if we think about when he's unanimated, what else is there to hide? Probably not anything. So let's go ahead and try it. We'll do the transfer the first time. We'll hope it ends up good, and we'll see what we got. Here's our guy. So you can see I didn't do the visibility on this particle effect. So that's kind of interesting. So we can fix that. One of the things you can do if you want a fast fix for something is just import again. By doing an import again, if you leave all of everything, so you kind of start out from this idea of just by default don't import anything, and then you timescale import all the animations, then basically what we're doing is just layering new data on top of what we already imported. And that's kind of convenient, because then we can go back into visibility and we can say, hey, you know, these the ribbon should have gained its visibility from the tower ribbon. And if we don't favor original and we're layering like that, then it's going to make sure it uses the tower data. I'm going to do it the same with this particle. I don't even know if the tower one has a particle. Maybe it doesn't. Well, in that case, we'll just override it to be not visible. That's kind of silly. Maybe later we'll re-import like that it would show up in a certain time or something. But, yeah, that'll help. So here's our guy. But you might notice there's a problem. Now, if you look at the tower model, oh, I'm also seeing all these little sound effects that we're going to have to fix, but if you look at the tower model, his axe is over here on the left. But if you look at the Johnwar model, his axe is not. His axe is out front. So something interesting to think about is that we might want to have basically like toggle on the axe all at once, and then when you have the whole entire axe selected, basically just every part of it we can get, which might be already highlighted. Once you get the axe, then you know what you could do is just pretty much move the axe over to hopefully close to where the tower one was, you know, so it's like in his hand over there. Now you'll notice this didn't fix the glow that was out there, so I guess you'd probably want to get that too, but that's going to be in a different place. Looks like maybe it's up here. Yeah, alright. So for the glow, looks like we have 4 of these nodes. These are probably attached to some kind of right hand, perhaps? Yeah, plane 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what we could probably do is just kind of grab all these, Control E to expand my selection to just get everything related to what I had selected. And then we try to find where we put the axe, which looks like it was kind of like over here. And maybe you'd want to do something where you get like some of this stuff and maybe space it out a little bit in the other direction or something, so it looks decent. That seems decent. Cool. So let's look at our animations now. Oh, and one other thing I almost forgot. I never got rid of the original sound notes. So you might remember I added sound notes, but I didn't remove the original sound notes. We probably want to remove those. So everything, all these, because otherwise you'll have empty event objects, which we don't want. So yeah, we're just going to nuke all those original sound notes. And I don't want any other stuff toggled on. Yeah, and the ones in the air too, just all of them. Cool. So now here's our guy, and oh, I didn't really import any flag animation. You could do flag animation if you wanted to. But yeah, see, there you go. We've got our guy. He's got a walk animation. He's got walk fast. He's got stand ready. Oh, now you'll notice the ribbon is the wrong way. So that's interesting. Let's save our work. It's always good to save our work. We're going to call this underscore power animation. But you'll notice the ribbon is somehow busted. So we probably want to do stuff with that ribbon to fix it. How's the camera? So I guess another fun thing, you can see the stand second worked pretty much exactly as we intended. Yeah, I'd say this is generally a successful transfer. But yeah, I think the one other thing we probably need to do, kind of like we were saying, was fixing this ribbon. So if you want to fix a ribbon like that, if you have a bad ribbon, honestly what I would do is just go to the ribbon, and I don't know why it ends up messed up like that, but if it does, I think you just add rotation. Yeah, okay, never mind. I was thinking of it wrong. So we actually want to add rotation to the ribbon. So this is where we just go back to our guy, go back to that right hand, sword X, blah, 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 ribbon. So now you can see if I drag it around, you can see what it looks like over there. That's kind of its orientation. And I think what we want to do probably would be to make a global sequence for the ribbon that's always running. So I wanted to create a global sequence of length 0. Am I allowed to do that? I guess I'm not. Okay, well maybe one of length 1,000 here. And so the obvious problem with this ribbon is that it's not rotated 90 degrees. So let's try rotating it 90 degrees. And let's see what he looks like. Yeah. See, now the ribbon is like with the axe. Now it still is kind of too far out from the axe. So we might still want to go and like turn on where he's at. Yeah. And then put the ribbon back here with the axe. And that might keep it, so it's really like along the axe, because I think that's really what you want. It just kind of got messed up from our transfer, and so we fixed it. So yeah, I think that's pretty much how you would do this transfer. I'm going to save this file again, because it's always good to save your work. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. The most important thing, as we saw, is really just creating a linking between, where does this guy's hand go to that guy's hand, where does this guy's head go to that guy's head, and those sorts of things. I guess as a matter of tweaking things, one other thing, if you didn't really like the portrait and you wanted to kind of fix that to line up a little better, of course you can always do that, where you would just go to the camera, lower it a little bit maybe, get it kind of down here, or maybe up and out a little bit. Yeah, kind of like that. Maybe up and out. Oh, now it was a little bit to the side. Yeah, I feel like I should raise the target, So something else I was telling somebody once, you can just dump the view up here, and then you can see the portrait like while you're editing it. So that way I can be like, well, I wanted to raise the target, so let's like raise it to his face like that, and that starts to look pretty good. If I close that thing, might even be able to make him talk. Yeah. And so it's kind of interesting because I think he's talking technically with the tower animations, because that's what we've got. But yeah, it looks pretty good. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers the animation transfer. If you ever need to put your UI back once you drag stuff around like that, just use Window Reset Layout. Yeah, okay, cool.